Good morning, students. Today we will discuss next topic prescribed into your syllabus by Punjab University Chandigarh. The topic is listening, and we will discuss introduction and effective listening skills. So let's begin with the introduction to effective listening or listening. Listening is a significant part of communication process. Listening is a significant part of communication process. So communication cannot take place until and unless a message is heard and retained thoroughly and positively by the receivers or the listeners. So listening is an important part or an integral part of communication process. No communication can take place until the message is heard and retained thoroughly and positively by the receivers or the listeners. Heard and retained. When a message is sent by the sender of the message, then it needs to be heard and retained. Retain means to keep, to store, or to save. So the message needs to be heard and saved thoroughly, or to keep thoroughly and positively by the receivers or the listeners of that message. Listening is a dynamic process. Listening means attentiveness and interest perceptible in the posture as well as expressions. By listening, we mean attentiveness, means when a message is sent by the sender, the listener must be attentive to to listen and retain it, and interest perceptible in the posture as well as expressions. The listener must have interest that should be perceptible through the posture as well as expressions of the listener. Perceptible. Perceptible means noticeable, means that attentiveness, that interest must be noticeable in the posture as well as expressions of the listener. Listening implies decoding, for example, translating the symbols into meaning and interpreting the messages correctly in communication process. So listening means to decode the message or to translate the symbols into meaning and then interpret that message correctly in communication process. Listening differs from hearing in sense that means there is difference between listening and hearing. First, hearing implies just perceiving the sounds, while listening means listening with understanding. So, this is the first difference between listening and hearing. Hearing means only to perceive the sounds. Hearing means only to perceive, to catch the sounds, while listening means listening with understanding whatever you are listening. Both the body as well as mind is involved in listening process. So hearing is only a uh, process that is done by body, means our ears only hear something, but when it comes to listen, At that time, both our body as well as our mind is involved in process of listening. So this is very first difference between listening and hearing. Next is listening is an active process while hearing is a passive activity. Listening is an active process whereas hearing is a passive activity. Means while hearing something you must not be attentive by mind. Next is hearing is an effortless activity while listening is an act requiring conscious efforts, concentration, and interest. Hearing is an effortless activity, means you need not to do efforts while hearing, but listening is an act requiring conscious efforts, concentration, and interest. But hearing is an effortless activity, whereas while listening something you must be conscious, you must be concentrated, and you must have interest in the content that you are listening. Only then you will be able to understand the message which is sent to you by the sender. Listening involves both physical and psychological efforts. Listening involves both physical and psychological efforts, means our mind, our brain must be attentive to listen. Effective listening requires both deliberate efforts and a keen mind. Effective listening, it needs our deliberate efforts. Deliberate means our conscious efforts and a keen mind, curious mind. Effective listeners appreciate flow of new ideas and information. Effective listeners, they appreciate flow of new ideas, and when they get new information or new ideas, they appreciate it. Organizations that follow the principles of effective listening are always informed timely, updated with the changes and implementations, and are always out of crisis situation. Organizations that follow the principles of effective listening are always informed timely, updated with the changes and implementations of any rules and regulations, and are always out of crisis situation. Effective listening promotes organizational relationships, encourages product delivery and innovation, as well as helps organization to deal with the diversity in employees and customers it serves. Effective listening, it promotes organizational relationships, the relationships of employees within an organization. It encourages delivery of products and new innovations. It also helps an organization to deal with the diversity in employees, means the employees, when employees are from different backgrounds, different states, and customers it serves. So effective listening helps in all these things, in product delivery, in innovations, to deal with the diversity in employees and customers. To improve your communication skills, you must learn to listen effectively. So, if a person wants to improve his or her communication skills, then he or she must learn to listen effectively. How to listen effectively? Effective listening gives you an advantage and makes you more impressive when you speak. Effective listening gives you an advantage and makes you more impressive when you speak. So, to be more impressive while speaking, you must have to listen in an effective way. It also boosts your performance while speaking or while listening. So, this is the introduction to effective listening and the difference between listening and hearing. Next is the effective listening skills. First one is discover your interests field. Means whenever you listen anything, you must try to find out the field in which you are interested. Second is grasp and understand the matter or the content. When you listen anything, you must try to grasp or to retain and understand the matter or the content that is being uh, sent to you by the sender of the message or the content. Third skill of effective listening is remain calm, means remain peaceful. Do not lose your temper. Anger hampers and inhibits communication. Angry people jam their minds to the words of others. Whenever you listen to anyone or anything, you must try to be calm. Calm means peaceful. You should not lose your temper, anger, because anger hampers and inhibits. To hamper and inhibit means to obstruct, means rukavat banna. Anger hampers and inhibits communication. Angry people jam their minds to the words of others. Whenever a person is angry, he cannot listen or he cannot grasp the message sent by another person. He cannot grasp the information. So, a person should try to be calm while listening anything or anyone. Next skill of effective listening is be open to accept new ideas and information. When you listen to someone or something, you should be open to accept new ideas and information. Next is jot down and take a note of important points. Whenever you listen something, you must jot down. Jot down means to write down or to mark down quickly. Means whenever you listen anything, you must write down or note down quickly the important things from the message. Next is work upon listening, analyze and evaluate the speech in spare time. Whenever you have time, try to analyze and evaluate the speech, and you must try to work upon whatever you have listened. Next is rephrase and summarize the speaker's ideas. After listening the information or any message, you must try to rephrase and summarize the ideas conveyed by the speaker. Next skill of effective listening is keep on asking questions. This demonstrates that how well you understand the speaker's ideas and also that you are listening. Whenever you listen to someone, keep on asking questions. Means you must be inquisitive. You must ask questions regarding the information which is being provided to you by someone. This demonstrates that how well you understand the speaker's ideas and also that you are listening. Whenever you keep on asking questions to someone who is giving any speech or uh, uh, giving any speech to the audience or to you, and when you ask questions to him or her, it demonstrates means it shows your uh, understanding of that message or information, and also that you are listening. It also shows that you are listening to him or her very carefully and attentively. Next is avoid distractions. Means whenever you listen to something or someone, try to avoid distractions. Means you must be attentive at the time you listen to something. Last but not the least, skill of effective listening is step into the shoes of others. For example, uh, put yourself in the position of the speaker and observe things from his viewpoint. This will help creating an atmosphere of mutual understanding and improve the exchange of ideas in communication process. Step into the shoes of others. It means the listener must try to put himself or herself in the position of the speaker, and she must observe things from the viewpoint of the speaker. This will help in creating an atmosphere of mutual understanding and in improving the exchange of ideas in communication process. So students, these are the skills which one must use for effective listening. So today we have covered our topic regarding the introduction and the skills of effective listening. Tomorrow we will continue with our next lecture. Thank you very much.